Welcome to the Redvee TV preview show, supported by A-Star Recruitment for the 2020 season as we look ahead to the round 17 clash against the Challenge Cup winners, the Leeds Rhinos. Joined this evening by the other Kev Cunningham. As some of you may know, Kev Pender has been diagnosed with COVID and is, well, tucked up in bed trying to get better. So we wish him well. Hopefully his symptoms don't get any worse and he'll be back fit and raring to go very shortly. But it's a double weekend, Kev. So maybe Kev Pender has planned it right because he doesn't have to talk to me 4 times.
Yeah. Just obviously get well soon, Kev. Rest up, stay safe, and I'm sure everyone will be missing the erratic tones of Kev Pender. I won't say the dulcet tones, but hopefully
somebody did
do a job.
Comment on his Twitter saying, so we'd have to listen to this clown for a few days.
You on your own?
I do have feelings, you know.
So do I.
Sorry. I'll apologise. We've ribbed you too much over the last couple of weeks.
It's all right. It's just that you're going to owe me 630 quid if Regan Grace finishes top try scorer. So we need to set up a payment plan for that.
We will indeed. It'll be a long payment plan with my bank balance. Right. Leeds this week. We've got Salford on Monday. Christian Wolf has essentially gone full strength with the squad. The only change to it is James Graham in for Wingfield.
Yeah, Jake Wingfield.
So we're obviously going all out to win this one.
Yeah, and I think obviously we've got to do what we need to. We've got to look after ourselves. It's almost inevitable now that the league table will ultimately be decided on this percentage method because Catalan yet again have had another game called off for this week, for tomorrow. So I'm not overly concerned because it wasn't on Sky, so we want to show it anyway. But I think they're at risk of not even playing the 15 now. I'm sure by hook or by crook they'll get the 15 in. But yeah, I think we've just got to do what we need to do. Put our best team out. We're playing the Challenge Cup champions, and I'm sure we'll get onto it, their squad is somewhat different than the squad that turned out at Wembley.
Stop, Kev. Challenge Cup winners. The champions belongs to the team that win the title. Champions is not used in any other circumstance.
Challenge Cup winners then. Challenge Cup winners. With an asterisk next to it. They only played 2 games, didn't they?
I know you've mentioned Catalan there. At what point in this season, with the amount of games coming thick and fast and teams having to double up, do Catalan eventually get an advantage come the end of the year when their players are a lot fresher due to having played less games? Potentially, do you eventually look at the league table and go, the strength of schedule? Because potentially Catalan could have games called off where they would have maybe lost to, say, I'm going to give you an example, Saints, Wigan, Warrington. Those games get called off so that they don't lose the games, the percentage doesn't go down, and they make the playoffs. Or do we just have to accept that that's the way it's got to be this year and put an asterisk next to them?
Yeah, it is because I don't think they're doing it maliciously.
No, of course.
They must have the test. It must all be kosher. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the table now. Good thing about doing this is you can see. I can see it in front of me. And they've played 12 so far, won 8, lost 4. They're at 66%. So if they play 3 more, and they can only physically play 3 more, and they adhere to the rule the RFL or Super League set out of 15, and that becomes 11 victories and only 4 losses, and we play however many, and we end up with, I don't know, let's say we end up with 16 victories and 4 losses. They've lost the same number of games as us. So ultimately, their percentage could be enough to get them in that top 4. And then you're absolutely right when you say that they've only played 15 games. So some of those blokes, they've had obviously a long season break because of COVID, and then they've had like whatever structure they've got. The RFL will, I mean, you look at Leeds' schedule. I've been looking at some of the Twitter comments from Leeds today. You look at their schedule, and that's tough. So if Catalan are going to try and get anywhere near 20 games, then they're gonna be struggling because I don't think they've got the biggest squad anyway, have they?
Some bruised and battered bodies by the end of November with all the games coming up. So Catalan, for me, are the real dark horses for the title, given how fresh they may be at the back end of the year. Now we'll try and share the Leeds squad. There we go. Only 7 survivors.
Yeah, some real notable absentees from there. I think one of the comments again on the Leeds page was that they haven't got a kicker because Reece Martin isn't in that squad. Neither is the number 7 Luke Gale. So Richie Marler probably could kick. I think he had a spell at Warrington, didn't he, where he kicked. But yeah, they're missing some big players. They're missing Ash Hanley, who's a threat to my Regan Grace bet. So I'm glad about that. They're missing Hurrell. Obviously they're missing Gale. They're missing Reece Martin. They're missing the hooker Cruz Lehman. So there's some good players not playing. So and a lot of Leeds fans have said on their Twitter feed that why are we throwing a game against Saints? We got battered. They play Wakey twice and Cast twice within 10 days of playing us. So has Richard Agar done the right thing? He probably has. Because if we turn up anything like we did against Wakefield, *2, then any team in Super League, I think, are in for a really tough night. So we're going to see the fruits of what squad rotation really looks like probably less than 12 hours after our game, or 14 hours after our game on Friday. So because
does Richard Agar, is he being a little bit pragmatic here? Obviously, with Leeds are due to play on the 26th also against Cass.
Yeah.
So obviously, on the back of the Challenge Cup win, this game's sandwiched in the middle. As you say, we're likely to play essentially a reserve side on Monday against Salford. So is Richard Agar going, well, my players are only going to play one of these 2 games.
Yeah.
We'll give them a bit of a break after the Challenge Cup final. If we suck up the loss against Saints on Friday evening, then we'll have the first team back for an eminently more winnable game against Cass.
Yeah, he's being strategic about it, but I think I've been in conversations in like probably the Jerry group today and another group about. Do you remember a couple of years ago in football where the integrity of the FA Cup was brought into question because a team fielded a very weak side?
Yeah.
We're kind of at that point now. And the real thing, I mean, as a rugby league fan, I want the season to be finished. And I've always said that. These people who say, oh, just stop it, scrap it, throw it away. Well, no, for me, I want to watch rugby league. I want to see someone get to crown champions. That final on Saturday was a great game of rugby league, and I was rooting for Salford, but didn't really mind if Leeds won. But the thing is the competition is being undermined a little bit. But we knew that from the outset. Once in June, they announced, this is what we're doing, this is what it's going to look like. Nobody was moaning then. So everyone's known, all the chairmen and then the CEOs who've been involved in those meetings with the RFL board, they knew back then what we had to come. And they knew the risks of players going out and catching COVID and having to isolate and so on and so forth. So I know it's probably the saying of the year, isn't it? 2020, the year where everyone said it is what it is. It is what it is.
With everybody potentially over this weekend essentially doubling up, apart from Catalan. Is every team likely to put a weakened side out in one of them games?
Yeah, I mean, I've not seen a Salford squad for because when do they play? Do they play just before us? They play Warrington before us, don't they?
No, they've got Wigan this week.
All right, okay. So I've not seen their squad. I don't know what they're doing, whether they're going full strength and then might play a lower kind of ranked team, like a lesser team against us. That's not the right words, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But so yeah, it kind of is what it is. But I don't think. I mean, I've been looking through our squad and looking through where we're at, and obviously we're going full strength for this. But you could manage some of those players that probably, for me, Robes, would you even play him, or would you just play him half a game and put Smith in there, or even Josh Eves in there? I probably wouldn't put Lewis in this week. I'd start Lewis on Monday against Salford. I'd probably start Lewis with Jack Wells because Johnny and Theo haven't had a day off, so I'd go them two. Then do you bring Nisbet in at full back, or do you let Coote just carry on controlling it from the back? Because the thing is with Coote, he's doing quite a bit as well. He's getting in the line. He's taking the ball in quite a lot from the back. So you've got to manage him. But then the other thing that come out this week is about this new Man of Steel thing. Coote's in the running for that after another fantastic performance against Wakefield. So if I was Christian, if I was Lachlan Coote, I'd be banging on Wolves' door and saying, listen, mate, don't leave me out. I want to play every game. I want that Man of Steel award. I want to do what Ben Barber did.
Just had a quick look at the Salford squad. They've made a couple of changes this week, but they've probably got the hardest double of the weekend. Wigan and Saints.
Wigan and Saints.
And again,
off the back of a Challenge Cup defeat as well.
Yeah, so it's not going to be easy for them. They'll be trying to get back on the horse this week. For us, squad-wise, do you think Jack Wellesby keeps his place after his performance last week? Obviously, he played so well.
1,000,000%, yes, I really do.
I think Josh Sim plays Monday. Potentially,
yeah, I think they both do.
Yeah,
I think Wellesby plays at 6.
You move him about. I think Dodd gets a game Monday.
Yeah, same.
Start. I think the younger lads. I think the likes. I think Lachlan Coote probably doesn't play both. James Roby probably doesn't play both.
Definitely not.
No. Your props. Do you go light with knowing what we're playing this week? Do you go light in your props? Do you maybe go with Walmsley and Graham, or Walmsley and Lee one game, and then in another go with Graham and LMS?
Yeah. Well, what Wolf will probably do.
Ashworth.
Yeah, you look at what Salford might roll out on Monday. So if Dudson's playing Friday, chances are he ain't going to play Monday. So if you go light, the good thing about the 21-man squad is you've got a bit of flexibility now to look at the squad and go, right, okay, well, they're doing that. That probably means this, so we'll go that way. But I worry about us in prop level, because we've kind of really utilised Kyler Moore. Walmsley's played big minutes and been fantastic. And for me, and I'll have this argument with anyone, and he's not going to win it because the system's flawed, but how is Alex Walmsley not Man of Steel? He's just a machine. He's 6'8". He tramples over everyone. He's offloading. He's scored more tries than any other forward. He's just phenomenal.
The system
Graham's obviously just had a break. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't work.
Because you've got so many good players.
Big fish in small pond.
Votes get spread too far across the squad. Whereas you've got, say, Huddersfield. If Huddersfield win, inevitably it's going to be like the likes of Aidan Caesar who are going to be getting the 3 points, and that's why he's up at the top. It's not because he's the best player in the league, and that's where the system is flawed, unfortunately. For me this week, knowing what Leeds have now done with the squad, I'd potentially go with Lees and Amor
to
start, and maybe have one prop on the bench, and then Monday go with Walmsley and Graham.
Have the other one, yeah, potentially, but I don't think Jammer won't start on Friday. I think James Graham definitely starts. He'll be. You know what he's like. Yeah, definitely. And again, Joseph Paolo, the name that'll haunt me forever. We'll see him. You've got Joe Batchelor to throw into the mix. You've got some of the young lads like Tom Nisbet. You've got Josh Eves you could throw into the mix.
Wingfield
you've got Wells,
will play Monday, we'd assume.
Jake Wingfield, you'd assume will go in there. The other thing is, like, he's managed Zeb over the last few weeks quite well. And for me, every time Zeb's come on, he's made impact. And obviously he started against Wakefield, and he was one of the 6-7 I named as definite, like, in contention for man of the match. He's also managed Dom Peru really well, in the sense of, I don't know if it's he's not quite keen on him, or I don't know if it's he wants to save him for this part of the season. But I think Peru starts as well on Monday. So is it worth him being on the bench, or would you put like a Batchelor, or even I know Wingfield's not in the squad, but would you put someone else in the 17 just to get them 30 minutes, 2 15-minute stints?
Do you know what? We're so blessed with squad depth.
We are.
For me, even though you go light on Monday or you go light against Leeds, I still expect us to get maximum points from both games. And hopefully, if other teams drop percentage points and first place gets secured, we could potentially have a couple of weeks heading into the playoffs where you can maybe freshen things up that way as well. Yeah,
and I think the Wigan game is going to be pivotal, because the good thing is, we had this, Jack Leavesley messaged in the group before about, like, has anyone done the maths? And I've not done the maths per se, because you can't, there's too many variables to contend with, particularly now Catalans have ended up where they've ended up with another game not being played.
With no guarantee that you're actually going to play that number of games either.
No, true. But I think if we do play all our games, my theory is if we don't lose more than 2, we'll finish top. If we play all 20 and we don't
Yeah.
lose more than another 2, we'll finish top. And one of those is against Wigan. So that's like a 4-pointer. So if we beat Wigan, if we, and I'm not as confident as you because I don't know what our squad's going to look like on Monday, and I've not seen a Salford squad, but the Salford game could be a curveball. I hope it's not, and I hope we come through it. And it's one of those OKR type. I don't care if it's 4-4 and it goes to golden point, and we both bars and the crossbar and it drops over and we win 5-4. As long as we get the 2 points.
Just looking at our last 6 fixtures, it's Leeds, Salford, Wigan, Catalan, Hull, and Warrington. It's a big run of 6 games. So hopefully you want to be able to get them games out the way quick as you can, win them, and put the queue on the shelf until playoff time.
No, until Warrington, and then we go full strength against Warrington and stop them getting into the top 4.
Right. Last thing, just before we go, it is the Black History Round this week, celebrating the impact of black players in rugby league over the last 125 years. We've certainly been blessed with some notable standouts of our own at Saints over the years.
Yeah, I think there's a big piece on the website about Clive Sullivan. Anthony Sullivan, he was probably one of my favourite players. I grew up, I was introduced to Saints at a time when Alan Hunt, Anthony Sullivan, that I used to stand on that side where it was New Love and Sullivan, and it was just it was amazing watching those players. And yeah, it was. I mean, he was my favourite. Him and Steve Prescott were my 2 favourite players, and obviously now we've got Regan Grace, who's the new player. You look at rugby league generally, and you talk about people like Ellery Hanley and Jason Robinson and Martin Afire, and there was a piece on Sky a couple of days ago about it. And yeah, we've been blessed at Saints to have some fantastic rugby league players, and it's good that we're celebrating Black History Month. We do it at work, in college, and we celebrate it. We celebrate success in all sorts of walks of life, and to celebrate it in rugby league this weekend, I think, is a real benefit and a real kind of indication of that, how culturally aware we are as a sport, and how kind of sophisticated the sport is. I have friends who look at it as an amateur sport and a part-time sport just for bands, because they're like Man City fans, so they don't know what sport is. Sorry, Leek Wellens, if you're watching. But yeah, good that we're recognising that and celebrating it as a sport for me.
Yeah, I'm glad to see that the game is so inclusive, and we get a chance to celebrate the impact that they make on the sport. Right, Kev, I will let you go. Right, prediction for tomorrow, Friday?
Yeah, I think if we've got a bit of that wakey about us, and I think that'll be the standard now. I fancy us going one better than what we did against them back in August.
I think it'll be similar to the Wigan derby when Wigan played their kids. I think it'll be Saints by 36, but I think it'll be close until later on in the game when them young bodies start to tire.
Yeah, I mean, they're young kids when they played against Hull last week. They were good for start. There wasn't a lot in it, and obviously they got a little bit tired towards the end. But I just think if we do go like Walmsley, Jammer, LMS, that energy, I don't think any team can live with that energy that we had against Wakey. So yeah, I fancy us to get. That's the other thing to consider when we talk about we could lose 2. It's because we've got such a positive points difference. Yeah. And that's going to come into play. Possibly not for us, because I'd like to think from where we're at now, knowing we play Wigan, knowing we play Warrington, knowing we play Catalan, it's in our hand. I'd like to think we can control it from there. But if we can't somehow, and we get bad referee decisions, or we go to Catalan and get turned over, we've got an extra point on the board effectively with that points difference percentage. So yeah, I don't want to. I think against Wigan we had a little bit of that mentality of get the game won, take it easy. I think if they turn up like they did against Wakefield with that mentality, we could put 60 on them. We could really blow them away. And if Regan Gray scores 6 tries, then happy days.
Fingers crossed for your missus. Right. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. You can send your best wishes to Kev on Twitter. I'm sure he'll appreciate them, because he's got nothing better to do except lie in bed, eat grapes, and hopefully recover soon. And we will catch you for the fan reaction on Friday evening. Thanks for joining us, Kev. Catch you soon.
No problem. Take care. See you soon.